We're at Brooklands in January. It's a little bit grey, overcast. There's been a bit of rain this morning, which makes the surface quite slippery, which is great fun for the VSCC winter driving tests. Okay, we're in the paddock again, and we have a lovely Vauxhall here. Now, this car has got a special story, and we're going to be following the owner, Annabel Jones, around the driving tests at Brooklands this morning. Hi, Annabel.
Hello.
Hello there. It's a Vauxhall, but tell us a little bit more about the car.
This is a Vauxhall 3098, chassis number OE19. So she was the 19th overhead valve and 3098 car made, and she has engine OE20, which is the one she was originally fitted with. She was built in 1923 and came first from Luton to here, and her first owner, Geoffrey Boston, did acceptance testing here, and then he travelled off on a grand tour of Europe with a couple of friends, and they drove. There's a photo album with pictures of them all over Europe, outside grand hotels in Switzerland and France, outside chateaux in the Loire. It's a beautiful collection of photos. And at some point in that trip, Geoffrey Boston, because he was obviously quite shorter than me, he found that the steering wheel interfered with his vision. And so he cut out this top section of the steering wheel.
Okay.
This is obviously a different steering wheel because it has it.
Cut the top off
but
so you can see over.
Cut the top off so that he could see through it. And there's a picture of this car here at Brooklands later that year when he entered for a race meeting here. And you can see that it doesn't have the top.
It doesn't have a top on it.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting story. I'm not sure it's advisable.
No, it doesn't seem like a good thing to do with your steering wheel.
No.
But he was fairly cavalier and very well to do, and was a serial owner of 3098s. He was a big fan. He owned an E-Type before this, and after this he owned another slightly later Vauxhall.
So how did it come into your family?
My father had been looking for a car. My father was mentored by David Marsh, who was the acolyte and real proponent of Vauxhall 3098s in the 1950s, alongside John Rowley. And my father was persuaded that a Vauxhall was the thing he needed, and he found this car and bought it in, I think it was 1959, but had a bit of work to do on it. So the first year that he was able to compete it was 1963. And in 63, he entered practically everything. And the first evidence of me at a car event was at Prescott in 1963, his first Prescott that he competed at. And I'm there as a bump.
Okay.
And my mother sitting on the running board, and me there as a bump.
Wow.
And I think I've been to almost every Prescott since then.
So your earliest experience in this very car before you were even born.
Yes. And my father notched up more competitive events in this car than any other 3098 during the 40 years or so he was campaigning it.
That's some achievement then, isn't it, I think, really, for this. And today we're back at Brooklands, and obviously we're in 2023, so we're celebrating the centenary.
Yes. So 100 years of this car and 60 years of it in my family's ownership.
Yeah, it's a nice sort of circle there, isn't there, really?
Yes.
Beginning here. You're not going to the south of France now, are you, though?
Not planning to this year. I've got quite a busy calendar with other things.
I thought you'd be going straight afterwards.
That would have been nice.
That would have been nice, wouldn't it, really, to go down there? That complete
yes,
circle.
Unfortunately, work intervenes.
Yeah, that's a shame these days, isn't it?
Yes.
But lovely car. You're not a stranger to the driving tests.
No. Usually I'd be doing it in a slightly more suitable car, Fraser Nash or an Austin 7 or something.
Yeah, something a little bit smaller, really. This is quite tricky with this one.
It's hard work. Hard work through the cones. It's a lot. It's got a lot of work on the shoulders.
No power steering, of course.
Yeah. Yes. And she's being a little bit temperamental, so it was good to enter today to get to iron out a few bugs. I think I need to send the starter motor off for a bit of a fettle and maybe service the carburettor, because she's stalling a bit and then not starting. So to be entirely confident of driving her for for a continental tour, which is what it would be nice to do soon.
It would, wouldn't it? Yes.
Yeah, you need to know that those things are
fair
reliable.
old bit of room in the back here. Just looking at your tonneau cover. There's,
yeah. So she's a proper touring car with
look at all that. Yeah.
with a good back seat, and
that's a nice wide back seat there. You could
Yeah.
lounge about in that, couldn't you, while being driven to the south of France?
well, as children, we spent hours in the back of this car.
Yeah.
Usually we'd crouch down under the tonneau because you're not much weather protection here. So we'd hide underneath and then pop our heads out if the car stopped at traffic lights to see where we were. And
I bet that was great fun.
We'd surprise all the other cars around.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of room there, isn't there?
Yeah.
What sort of luggage space do you have then?
Well, not a lot.
You have to put that in the back with this.
If you've got passengers, then you can use the running boards.
Strap things on,
some other people, Charles Milne Atkinson has a fantastic original running board arrangement with a kind of concertina thing inside which you put your luggage.
Okay.
You can use a lot of...
So you can get it down the sides.
Yeah. Yes. And some people have luggage racks on the back.
Right.
This one doesn't have one, but it's
I was just thinking about his trip down to the south of France and everything we would have to take.
If it was just the two of us, then we'll use the back seat for luggage. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine with that, isn't it? If we've got another couple of people in the back, then it's
yes, exactly.
It's going to be a bit tricky, isn't it?
If you fill up with people, then you put your luggage elsewhere, or just travel very light.
Absolutely.
There is some space behind the back seat, but it's not huge.
A lot, though. No. Lovely. Well, it's a beautiful car.
Thank you.
It's nice to see it out today.
Thanks.
And good luck this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
You're probably going to win again, are you?
No. Not in
this.
It's not a winning car for these for these tests. If there was more space here and there were bigger, longer tests, then this would stand a better chance.
Yeah, but they're a bit tight around the cones.
Yeah, she's more a touring car than a driving test car. But
blame Kevin for that.
But it's still fun to have her out for the day.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Annabel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Annabel, how was your morning?
It was okay. I didn't get any penalties, but it was really slow. And partly I feel I'm fighting the car a bit. She wants to stall all the time. And so on each of the stop lines, I was having to use the hand throttle here to try and keep the revs up. And then the revs are a bit high for making a smooth getaway, so it's all a bit kind of jerky and not as smooth as I'd like it. I think I'm going to go away from today with a bit of a to-do list to try and get her happier and smoother.
And if you had to prioritise that to-do list, what will you start with?
The first thing I need to do is get the starter motor better, because what's making me paranoid about stalling is the starter motor is really weak. I think it needs to go away for a rewind and a fettle, get some more power in that. I know the battery's good, so I think it's the starter motor there. And when I'm confident of the starter motor, I'm less paranoid about stalling, and therefore that's less taking my attention. The other thing, just to understand why she's stalling, which I think may be a carburation issue. She's either flooding herself or running a bit lean, and a rolling road could help with that. So a bit of diagnostic work, I think.
Yeah. When was she last out?
She was last out. Well, last year she did competed in the long car race at Donington, and I drove her there, and we had some mechanical issues there, which were then sorted. But then she drove home. We had the gearbox and clutch out in the paddock in the pouring rain in Donington, which was not great. So the clutch was bodged back together again, did the race, and since then has had a full rebuild. So the clutch is good, but a little bit grabby, which doesn't help with the stalling issue. So she competed there. She also did Prescott, VSCC Prescott in August, which is a big event, and put in decent times there. Performed well, drove there and back fine, and decent times on the hill. So, but didn't do much other than that.
So today is a shakedown for the year, in a sense,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is. Yes, because this is her centenary year, and so I want to do as much as I can with her. And today is a bit of a diagnostic day to make sure that she's on song for the rest of the year.
What do you plan to do with her, bearing in mind that it's the 100th anniversary?
Well, Prescott again. It would be lovely to take her on what she was really built for, which is a big continental tour of some kind. Just use her as much as possible. I think gratuitous road use is what this car's designed for. The successive owner of this car is particularly asked to register their permanent address with the service department. Vauxhall Motors, Luton.
There we are, that's brilliant.